And of course, I'll always take it down. Like, you got it. Woo! I think that means we are live from now, even though it says it's setting it up. So this is, and I think we are live. That's so exciting.
Relax.
Yes, and yes, we are. Yes, we are. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. I am so good. I'm like still wiping away the like giggling tears I had before. Like
because we had a little chat before this, and
we did.
yeah,
and then we can't stop giggling. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So funny.
Oh man.
Oh man, it's so nice to like have a chat and like you know come on with someone else who like also gets the gaming thing, and
I get it.
So nice. It's so nice.
Yeah.
So I guess like, you know, I feel like you've been talking about it a lot on Instagram, and I've not really talked about it a lot, but like I feel like that's sort of because I have like a lot of like this is so like, I'm normally pretty good with taboo topics, but I don't know, I feel like it's such one of those things. It's like, let's not talk about it too much.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
I don't know why, but
yeah, maybe that's why I wanted to talk about it, because no one's talking about it. And I just want to talk about everything that no one's, and I feel like I always go through things before everybody else, like not before, but like, you know, so if we have the same age kids, I always seem to go through things before, so I know kind of how to help people later on with, you know, if that makes sense, with, I feel like, with everything, you know?
Yeah, that really makes sense. And I think too, like, because I've been doing it for so long, I feel like it's just one of those things where it's just like, oh yeah, I've been through that. And
that's true.
I'm not like, you know, and, so it's so nice.
It's so hard to go back when you're like helping people. They're like, oh, what do I do? Because a lot of people joining homeschooling now, and they're like, oh, what do I do with this? And what do I do with that? And I was like, oh, wait, I have to put my mind back there. And everyone's like, oh, I'm so worried about starting. I'm like, yeah, you're worried about starting homeschooling. Okay. Like I got to put my mind back, even though I was there, like really badly there for like a year, but I'm like, it's so hard to remember how it felt to be there. Yeah. So you got to have to backpedal. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to just like really be like, wow, feel all those feels as well. Like I feel like you and I are very feely people, and we feel it all. Like, you know, you have to like feel all those feels and just be like, oh my goodness, yes, I totally remember that.
Yeah.
And you're going through that now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, oh, it's so hardcore. So hardcore. But so this chat's all about online gaming. So I don't know.
Yeah.
How'd you start? Like, were you just like, nah, let's just do it? Okay. Or you always doing it, or
so the type of personality I am, like and I've only just kind of realized is that I really want to give the boys like a full round experience of every single thing. I don't know, like I just have that in me, and I know that's not for everybody. Everyone wants to like have their kids not do certain things, but for me, it's just like I want them to be able to experience everything that's like with foods as well. I want them to have that like straight off the bat, and then that way they just for some reason I had in my head, like when they talk to friends, like they'll know what you know they're talking about. So even like YouTube, that was like, I think it probably started with that. Definitely, actually. It started with YouTube. And I was like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? And then when they started like, you know, doing it, I was like, you know what? They actually don't know a lot about a lot of little things, like even like, you know, just superheroes or something. I'm like, I realized we don't really watch any superhero movies. I'm like, oh, but YouTube was kind of showing them this different superheroes. So that way they could see other people, you know, when I finally talk to like their friends and stuff, they're like, I know what that is. Otherwise I'll just be like, they're like, yeah, Spider-Man. They're like, yeah, what's going on? Spider-Man, what are you? And they're like, oh, you know, so it was like a whole round experience. So I guess with the TV, they weren't too, like also, I guess it starts with the TV maybe, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I can't remember what made us start, to be honest, if it was YouTube first or not. Because Lily was like 11, and I want to be like, was YouTube around back then? But I mean, I'm sure it was. But like, I don't know. I don't know.
So was Jax more from Lily?
Jax would be more from YouTube. and also
YouTube.
from
Okay.
Lily. Yeah, but I think because it's been such a part of our lives for like ever, that like he kind of didn't stand a chance to not know. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, you know, it's just a thing that he's always been exposed to.
Exactly. Actually, I had that in my mind as well. I was like, well, if they had older siblings, they would already be exposed to it anyway. So why am I like too worried about it? Because I know that their friends are like, oh, I know this game, I know that game, because they've got older siblings. So I guess I started off with, you know, this like, because they were into even like they were watching like scary kind of like, you know, Jurassic Park and all that when they were really little, and you know, movies that a lot of parents wouldn't, you know, do. But I'm like, oh, they're not getting affected, they're not having nightmares, they're not like, they're not doing anything bad from it, so we'll just can keep it going. And then the gaming, I think it must have been like a YouTube thing, and then they're like, Mummy, can we play that game? And I'm like, what, that game? I'm like, I don't really want this. And that's when it like, so they seen it on YouTube, someone playing it, and I downloaded it, and that's how it began.
Right. And then the rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah, I think for us it's like, I don't remember how it started for Lily. I just remember that she was doing it, but I didn't set it up. So like I was, because I am like, when it comes to gaming in general, like I'm like not remotely understanding. My brain just does not comprehend. So we were living with my in-laws at the time, and so her aunt and uncle were like heavily into Minecraft as well. So it was like, oh, can you come down and like set all this up, because like I don't know how to do any of that. Like
Minecraft is so hard to set up.
I was like, I don't know anything. And so then all I remember is that it just became a thing, and then she was just like doing it, and then I'd watch her playing and like building things and joining servers. And then I think even we did like a stint, like they I know they still do it now, like they've got like homeschool servers where you can do like a homeschool term, and like you join in, you have to like build certain things for certain, you know, for certain lessons and stuff. And you know, like just watching her like play and then like speak like real life truths from it, like, you know, she knows like her gems and her stones, and oh, diamonds can do this, and you know, and I'm just like, wait, is that true? And I'd like be googling it, I'm like, that is true, oh my goodness. And she's just like,
how old was she when she started?
Oh, I think she was probably 11.
Yeah, that's pretty like. And how old was Jax?
Oh, 5.
Yeah, I think my
like
boys
5.
were well, Parker's 4. No, 5. Parker's 5. Parker's 5, but I think he only just started when he was 5. Like, but just because of him, he just was ready at 5. It's weird how he didn't want to do it earlier, but Cooper was doing it in front of him, and he just didn't get into it. So I got 2 boys, so the 5-year-old and a 6-year-old. I have to remember.
I've just had their birthdays. At some point recently. So I think because Jackson's always like watched Lily play games, because like when we moved up to Queensland, she'd then play games with her friends who are still in Sydney, and they'd you know, be like in like calls. I don't know if it's Discord. I like I said, when it comes to online things, I'm so lost with it, you know. So he'd see her playing games with her friends in Sydney and stuff, and it just became a thing where he's like, I really want to play that now.
Oh wow,
and I'm like, okay, that's all right. Wait, Lil, can you set this up? And so I'm always like, Lily, there's an issue, can you come and solve it?
So so Cooper set he's up all by himself. He looked up on YouTube how to do it.
Wow,
I'm here.
Nice.
He looked up on YouTube how to do it.
Wow.
And he went on to the, you know, and just like he did it all himself. I haven't been able to do anything, so that's I find I've heard people saying that they don't like it because they have to keep helping them with. I'm like, if they can't do it themselves, like that's it. Like I don't do it. So I think he actually started. He did start with the reading eggs thing. He wasn't that into reading eggs at first, but now I just only discovered at like 6, that he's actually into, I think because he knows the words now. So it's like, yeah, I know this word, I know that word. And he just like, it's easier. But I guess when they're starting there, it's hard, like, it's a bit discouraging not getting letters and stuff, like, you just want to win.
Yeah.
Hey, but he's learned pretty much, like all, like his word, like a lot of his words and everything through the gaming, like situation, words and letters. So through everything, obviously, but like that seems to be like a big thing. And so I make sure I do all the kind of words that they see, go through, like, so if I see them clicking on a certain word all the time, kind of like, okay, play, all that sort of stuff, I like write it down and see if he remembers,
in other contexts.
Yeah, and later on, and then he's like, yeah, that's play, that's this, that's that, and all, even the YouTube play, he knows all the names of that. Like, I think there's like slow go and jelly. They got weird names. And I was just like, oh, hey, what's this say? And he's like, that's jelly. I'm like, yeah, how do you spell that? They're like, JEL, and he knows it. I was like, wow, okay, so let's just keep going with this.
It's so amazing how like Minecraft like can teach our boys to read. It's so funny because even Jackson was like that, because they can create like little books. I don't know if your boys have done this, but Jackson really likes to create, like he'll create like a building or something, and he'll put a sign at the front, and then he's got to work out how to like put on the sign, or he'll create like little books, and he's like, okay, Mum, come read the book that I just made in YouTube.
I didn't know the
Minecraft
book.
And I was like, reading the book. I'm like,
oh wow,
like my child, like, how he's just absolutely just grown from this.
Yeah. I didn't realize the book thing. I haven't, but I know the sign. So he puts a little sign saying Cooper's house or something. And I'm like, how do you know that? You know?
Yeah.
It's so cute. I have loved seeing like what he's built on Minecraft. It blows my mind. Right. So he just gets like a YouTube channel, like, so, and he gets it on like, something, and it'll probably go on my phone or something. And he's like, Mommy, I want to learn how to do this. And it will tell them step by step how to create exactly what he wants, like a big statue or a castle or house, like it's a really hard thing, like it takes a couple of days to do. And I couldn't do it, like no I don't even know how to put a block down, like I can't even put, I'm like, and he, like, I remember ages ago he's like, can you help me do this? I'm like, yep, all right, I'll try to help you. And he's like, Mommy, you just crashed my whole thing. I'm like, I don't know, I didn't get this, I don't know how to do it.
Oh my gosh, Aurora, I feel like Lily made me do it when she was like 11, and it was so funny because I'm sitting there like going, and I'm like crashing into everything. I'm like, I can't see. We should totally do a YouTube video where our kids are like making us do it, and we should like come on here and like film us try and like build stuff, because I reckon it'd be so funny because I can't do it either. I like end up just getting so frustrated with the whole thing. I'm just like, I can't wait. Why do I look over here, and I'm jumping, and
like you're walking and you're looking at the sky. And
then you like looking down, and then you're like clicking over here, and then I'm
you're like,
oh
all right, I'll put a block here, and you like got rid of it. You're like, damn it.
You're like, okay, I'm building a square. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, why isn't it in the line? And then you got to come back. And I'm just like, nah.
I know, I can't. And that's why I feel like I do that actually on purpose with learning. So when we're learning like writing or something like that, I say, he's like, oh, like, what's this letter? So I act like I don't know something so he can do it. So I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I can't do it. He's like, Mommy, okay, fine, I'll show you, So he makes it do it. So like, I guess it prompts him to just do it himself as well. He's like, fine, Mommy, just give it to me and I'll learn how to do it. I'm like, all right. But so, step by step, they go, 4 across, 8 up, like all that sort of stuff. Like, and that's what I did with the painting that I'm going to send you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I thought, and I was like, wait, he can actually do exactly the same, like a Minecraft thing with the painting. Yeah. So like, 8, like he did 8 across boxes and 4 down, exactly how he has learnt from YouTube to build something. Yeah. And they're like, and he builds it so perfectly. These amazing, I just can't believe it. Like, so he does it on the PlayStation downstairs. Which is good because I don't mind, like I like it being different places, the gaming as well. Like we don't have an iPad to play it on, which is, I think, is a good thing for us. It's more the computer and the PlayStation right now, and my phone. He's using my phone, which I feel like I've done this on purpose because I've put out there to say, look, I want to get off my phone more.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's like, Mommy, can I play your friend? And I'm like, mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so my phone disappears for like, you know, and it's good. I have nothing. I can't go on it. Like I literally, so it's good. He can do it. And he like on my phone, he goes to notes and practices. And then he goes to messages and practices messaging his friends as well. So he messages his friends on that as well. Like, because we have a messenger, Roblox messenger.
Okay.
For all the homeschoolers or anyone that wants to join, like the kids that we know.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, you know, it's so funny because all the kids, like, they just message like, hey, is Cooper on or is this person on? Like, can anyone go on? I want to go on Zoom now. Like, go on Zoom, go on Zoom.
Cute.
And it's so funny because some of their friends are like nonstop writing, and then their parents don't even know. They're like, I am so sorry. I didn't even realize. Like, like he's just constantly writing. Yeah, and then so Cooper cute. Does it as well. So if he sees, like, you know, sometimes he see my phone come up and he's like, Mommy, someone just messaged you. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, no one's messaged you at all.
It's like I'm trying to like flick it off, and he's like, nope.
Get it off.
He's like, it says Cooper Zoom on there, and it says Roblox. So, and I'm like, yeah, all right. Well,
that's the problem with learning to read, right? We can't.
Yes,
we've lost that ability to be like, no, you can't.
Yeah, and I loved it the other day. We had Parker in the he was on the computer doing Roblox now. And he was doing the do you know Roblox? Has he done that one? Yep. Yeah.
I think he does, and then he just didn't like it. I think he did it for like
that's awesome.
Like a week or two, and he's just like, nah, I would rather Minecraft.
So good.
Fortnite.
That is
he
amazing.
Plays Fortnite too sometimes, but
so I suggest Minecraft for people that don't want to want to be more in control of what your kid sees. But Roblox is very intense. Like, it can be all different types of games, so it's pretty. You have to be prepared for your kids to like do every single type of game, which I love, because anything that they've been wondering about or like love about, like superheroes or building or mermaids or daycare or like cooking, is every single game on there that you could possibly imagine. So I don't have to buy any games. Like, it's just free. It's a free thing. And then they can just type in whatever game they ever want. And then they just, even Minecraft, there's Minecraft on there as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then they can play all their friends on it, because a lot of their friends don't have, he hasn't been able to play Minecraft with his friends. Yeah. Because they got it on different things.
Devices,
Their devices. Yeah. But this one's all, Roblox can be on every single device.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So it is awesome, but I have to warn like a lot of parents, because it can get pretty intense, and they can get addicted, and they can get, so we'll probably talk about that too, how we can manage like addiction and all that sort of stuff. But it can get pretty pretty intense. But it was so funny. So my Parker was our father-in-law was over the other day, and they were just watching Parker for me for a bit, and like, so he was on Parker was showing him how to do the computer, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, Parker just like did something, and like he just started talking to his friend out of nowhere, like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, how funny. He didn't realize that he could like put up, like, so he just pressed the Zoom himself, like, because he saw on the Roblox chat Parker go on Zoom, and he's like, okay, and Parker just puts the Zoom up, the Roblox Zoom up, and then they all just go on automatically.
Oh, that's
and he's
so
like,
cool.
and then like the father-in-law was just so scared, like, he just started talking to someone out of nowhere, and I don't know what's going on. And this is like my 5-year-old just like, yep, okay, hey Levi, how you going? And then like he's just like, what is going on?
I can imagine how like scary that would be, like, if you don't know, like, but can you do that with like, because I know that there's a lot of you know, fear about Roblox. I've seen a lot of it about,
it would be,
you know, but like, because it's different to Minecraft in the sense that, like, at least with Minecraft you don't have to play with other people, but Roblox you can't play alone, can you? You are always in service with other people, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But you can turn off chat, can't you?
Yeah.
So that like your kid can still play but can't like chat, like text or audio with anyone, but they're still playing with everyone, right? And like, am I right to say that?
Yeah, there's no audio. Right. There's no audio in these games. It's the Zoom that creates the audio. Right, but the chat. The one good thing is that you can't, with the chat, I've realized, because when I put in a sentence like go on Zoom, it won't go. It like hashtag it out, because you're not allowed to put in that you're, you know what I mean, about to communicate, because it could be like an adult, you know what I mean, communicating with a kid, I'm guessing. Right, so they won't let you do that. So you have to kind of be like if you want them to go on, you have to just pretty much write Zoom, you know, like instead of like a sentence to say, hey, do this or do that, or, you know.
And so he can just go on Zoom with just his friends, hey, not like the entire.
No, it's only just his friends. It's only a Zoom like thing that we've set up. You know how like it's just a name that they can just go on straight away. And then it's just for them. It's only just for his friends. No one else can go on it. They don't even know how to get anybody. They don't know the numbers, but it's just automatically was on their Zoom thing. But it came in handy. I think maybe the reason also I'm talking about it more because it came in more handy with lockdown. So that's probably why, because before this they didn't do as much gaming, and then lockdown happened and we just like, all right, let's go full force into this, because we want you to communicate still with your friends and play with your friends. And before that I had to have more like time limits and stuff. So we'll go on. So do you have like time limits and everything like that? What do you do with your kind of gaming?
So I've always been similar to you in the sense that, like, you know, I want my kids to, I never want them to feel like they have like so two things, like in the sense of like, I feel like teenagers, when you become a teenager and like that whole rebellion thing, I don't feel like that's like an actual thing that you have to go through. Like Lily's never gone through like a rebellion, even though she's a teenager. It's not something you have to do. I feel like it's very, you know, it's almost expected of teenagers. It's like, oh, they're just doing a rebellion, like, you know, but I don't think it's like it's like an actual real thing that they have to do. So I kind of always viewed it as sort of like, I don't want to have them feel like they're missing out on something and then get to their teenage years where they've got that more independence and then be like, I've never had this, and then go like well and truly off and start rebelling on especially things that are like in my head, like, you know, not really that huge, like, you know what I mean, like playing games on the computer. You know, I feel like it's so important to, like, it's a part of everyone's life when they become an adult, like as in being on a screen. And I don't really feel like whether it's gaming or social media or even just working, like I don't feel like there's much of a difference in the ability to get addicted. Now, of course, like gaming and stuff, there's all that reward dopamine that's going through your brain. And, you know, I get that aspect of it definitely makes it addicting. But I feel like too, like social media, we all get addicted to that too. So I feel like to me, it's always been about providing that space for my kids to sort of explore it in their way and then learn how to manage it for themselves that way. I
got a question for you. So how were you brought up, like, as well? Do you think you're like that because of the way you're brought up as well? Like,
definitely not.
No.
So I grew up with, like, we had huge periods of times without TV. We just, you know, my mum would be like, okay, watching TV, you know, too much, or we'd rather have more family time, so she'd just get rid of the TV. It's like why, like, I don't really watch TV. I really struggle to sit down and watch anything because I never really did it as a kid. We'd have like VHS, you know, back in the day, where it's like if we did have a TV, like I remember being able to just put a movie on, like, you know, Rainy Days or something like that. Or if I'd go to my nan's house, that's how come I know about some TV shows. But like definitely, like, I definitely missed out on a lot of that. And same with music. I did not get a good chance in my adult mind.
You say missed out, like, so do you feel like you missed?
I do. I don't, like, a lot of people talk about this music or you know this, and I'm like, no idea. Like I didn't get into music till I was like in my late 20s, and even now, like I still can't, like, I'm like, oh, I don't know who that is, or I'm still trying to explore music from like
I never thought of it that way.
You know?
So that's why I'm wondering, like, as well, you might feel the same way with your, like, you want your kids to experience everything because you didn't get to experience like everything, and you get to know exactly what I said. Hey, get to know when you're talking to someone, you're like, I know that. Like, we can have a conversation.
Definitely. But I think I've experienced that. I know what that is, instead of being like, I know what that is, or like, you know, or you know, that kind
what
of
about
thing.
The rebellious side? Did you go through?
I only did 3 months of that rebellion, and that was
you know exactly how many months.
3 months, that was it. 3 months of rebellion, and now I have Lily. That was it. That was my extent. That was my extent of being naughty.
And then it's like, boom.
And then it's like, hello. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be naughty anymore.
Literally cut, like.
Yeah, literally 3 months, you know. So, one of those things, hey. But, for me, it was kind of like, I guess I watched a lot of people have online gaming addictions and stuff around me. And I was kind of like, ooh, it can happen even when you're like an adult, like even when you're like your late teens and things like that. Like, it's more important to me that it doesn't become a thing that they feel like they're missing out on and then go so overboard or get like, you know, only have like a limited amount of time, coming back to your question, which is where I think you were trying to go, is like limited amount of time. And then all of a sudden, you know, they're 17 now, like Lily's 17, she works, right? And she's got all this spare time. So what's she going to do? Game? Well, no, she already knows that like, yeah, I'll do that for a little while, but then there's so much more to life, you know what I mean? Instead of like now getting addicted at 17, 18, then, you know, her whole life just becomes gaming. So, so we never really did time limits per se. But, you know, whenever, like when Lily was, like, because Lily started when she was 11. And so this is same applies with Jackson as well. Like whenever I sort of feel that they're getting a little bit, you know, are you getting a bit addicted? Like, of course, they're not going to know. They don't know what that's like. They don't know that they're addicted. They're like, no, I'm just having fun, you know. But you as a parent are like, so, you know, I think this is what it is. And just exploring that with them and then showing them and then giving them more opportunities to like do other things and then just guiding them through that process so that they remember the other things in life. And, you know, sometimes I do go through the process of like, you know, okay, well, you know, that's got to go away for a little while, or how do you feel about it going away for a little while? And, you know, like Lily would be like, yeah, right, it's time to put it away for a couple of months, or a couple of weeks, or I'll just put it away for today and see how I go. 3 months later, she's, you know, still amazing. Off, you know, so I feel like for like one child who I've done it with since she was 11, I feel like we've achieved what I set out to achieve, which sounds, and I'm not trying to like be like, you know, like up myself or anything like that, but like, you know, I had this intention from the day dot to like have her reach, you know, 17, 18 and be like, you know, within this bracket. And I feel like we definitely got there because, you know, as unschoolers, like we know like that, like, oh, am I doing the right thing? Is this too much? And, you know, other people talk about gaming and they're like, you know, some people can be quite negative about it. Oh, that shouldn't be a thing, you know, that's like really bad for them, or that's bad for their eyes, that's bad for their brain, it's bad for, you know, they're not going to be able to communicate with people, you know, all their counter communications about it. And I was, you know, I feel like we got to where I was intentionally trying to go. And I feel like we're on that same path with Jackson. Of course, they're both different. And it's not like a small box or, you know, a small thing. It's just a general, like, well-rounded person who's going to be able to, like, walk away from the screen. Yeah. Walk away from the game. Know when they're raging, you know, like that's huge in our house. You know, I don't know if your boys get like that. But as soon as there's like, you know, rage or just feeling that, like I worked really hard with my kids to sort of start identifying in themselves when like it's starting to raise up. And it's okay, so, you know, how you know, without interrupting them, but like, you know, you find your moments to just be like, okay, you know, look at how you're feeling, how your body's feeling. Is it a break time? Is it this time? Let's go do this. You know, and just try to guide them through that. Because, I mean, they're only in your roof for like a blink of an eye. Yeah. And all these skills that they're learning, you know, need to be a part of their whole life. I feel like Cooper did that. Like he was very in touch with like how he feels. And he used to say, my belly's told me I didn't want to do that, but my belly was making me do this. I'm like, oh no. And they're like, why did you do that? And he's like, oh, my belly told me to. So I feel like I realized that's him like saying like that's how he's feeling. Yeah. But he's like he's pretty much like he says it how it kind of is, like exactly, which is amazing. Parker on the other hand, he can like twist everything and but definitely with the
I understand with the rage thing. Yeah, as soon as that's the one thing, I guess. Man, I have so much. Yeah, like so with the rage thing for sure. Like when they know that they're going through a big rate, so I think they started doing that when they first started with gaming and so when I say, okay, it's time to go off, if they get angry or like to go off, I say you can't go on tomorrow or the next day or a week, you know, and then if they keep going, like can't go on for a week. Like,
100%.
I'll just keep going, like you can't go on again because you just have to be older. You got to be older to be able to do this, which is funny because it's kind of like, it's hard because my husband also likes to game in a different area. They don't really watch him game. They haven't really seen him gaming, but it's hard because he gets annoyed at the game. So how do I like teach oh yeah, you got to be older. But luckily they haven't seen that. So I say, you got to be older if you can't handle it to leave. But Cooper's like, I'm like so good now with it because I think they know I take it seriously. Like, okay, it's time to get off now. He's like, oh, I just wanted to finish this. But I actually am also, I'm not like, I want to communicate good with them. And like, I want to have like, it's like, I don't know if it's a trust thing, but like, I want to, if they're saying, oh, I want to play this one more, then I'll make sure I do it before I want them to get off. So they know that they can have that time for one more. Okay. So I don't just go, get off now, turn it off. Like that's, you know, because they might have been in a really important, amazing game and I've just destroyed like something amazing, like a Minecraft thing. And, you know, so I make sure I say it before, like, hey, all right, it's time to go off now. I say that. And they're like, oh, mommy, please, can I just, like, sometimes they just go, okay, yeah, true, yeah, okay. And then they get off, like, because they just know, that's it. And then sometimes I say, okay, it's time to go off. And they're like, oh, mommy, I just got to finish this game. I'm like, okay, one more then. And like, really, I've set that up anyway. Like, so but when they know with the rage thing, that's it, like no more. And that's worked for both of them. They know they can't, and also because they're playing each other now, and that's really hard because they like to fight, like, you know, like, all right, come into my map, go do this, let's do that. And then Cooper's like being, you know, cheeky and going and then just destroying something of his, and Parker's like, stop it now. And I'm like, all right, if you guys are gonna fight, like get off, you know, like
because then they're like playing in real life.
I remember one time, like, the first time they did it, they actually like went over to each other and just hit the other kid.
And you're like, oh my gosh,
this is not it. This is a game. This is a game. This is not real life. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Okay. Did he hit you? And I had to be like, did he hit you in real life? Did he hit you like this? Like, did he touch you? And they're like, no. I'm like, no. Okay, it's on a game. Let's get this. If you can't handle this, we are not going on again. And they haven't done it since. After I had that big spiel to them, because I was just like, because for us, you know, we don't understand the whole side of like getting so into it. Like, I'm not a gamer. I've never played any of the games, like you know, people did the Bejeweled thing, I think it's called. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Candy Crush. You know, people used to do, I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Everyone used to like, oh, play this, play that. Like, and I never used to, the only thing I ever got into like for like a couple months when I was in school was Sims. And that was a little bit addictive.
I think Lily's done that too.
That can be addictive because you make it like your life is,
you're like, ooh.
Your life is a Sims now. You don't have your life. Your life is a Sim. You have to work and you have to eat. You have to go to the toilet. Oh man, that was a bit too crazy. But I feel like you have to go through that to get out of it. Like to go through it, like to just let it out. So, my parents actually, the way I was brought up, I was pretty like, I went to school and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like my parents would have unschooled me for sure. Like if, like, or not on purpose. That would have been like definitely a radical unschooler or something like that. I don't know if I was homeschooled. But they were pretty like lenient with a lot of things. I had older brother and sisters, I guess, so that they kind of took the attention away. Like they were half brothers and half sisters, so they took a lot of the, because they were like pretty intense. They were coming in and out of the house all the time, like living in the house and out of the house. So they kind of took it all, you know, and then we were just like left to, we could just do really, you know, whatever really wanted. Like, so we could watch TV, we could do, you know, anything, like, and anything we wanted to do, they're like, yeah, for sure, go do it, with everything, like, and I think, and then also like even like drinking and stuff, that was like, oh, you want a drink? I'm like, yeah, can you buy us a drink? They're like, yeah, cool, we'll buy you drinks. Like, they were fine. Yeah, they would be like, I think, I don't know what age, I think 14, 15, something like that. My friends would probably remember. Yeah, I was like, I think passion pop. I'm like, can you buy us like some passion pop? And they're like, yeah, cool. Like, just come to the house. And we like, drank, the passion, like all that. Yeah, pretty much a lot of things, like whatever I needed, anything. I could talk about anything with my parents, like at all, about everything. And yeah, with that sort of stuff, it's just like, oh yeah. And if I wanted to take a day off school, like that was very easy. Like, as you could imagine. Yeah. It's just like, oh, I feel sick. Okay, don't go to school. I'm surprised why I went to school a lot. Like, I really didn't have to. I'm like, why did I was a good child though. Like, I was so, I don't like saying good, but I was like really good. And I used to just go to school all the time. Like, why? I didn't have to.
Yeah, wow.
My parents would have been just like, yeah, cool, just stay home, whatever,
whatever.
I didn't really have a structure to clean. I didn't have to clean really. I didn't have to cook. Like, I was pretty much.
Wow.
I don't know what you would call that. Like, it's like the hippie kind of,
Yeah, wow, that's so cool.
My parents call me Aura, so I don't know if that's like, everyone always thought like, were you like bored? Like, were you like, were your parents hippies? Because like they didn't realize no one could say Aurora back then. So as soon as they came up with Aurora, they said, we've got to call it Aura though. But that's her real name is Aurora. Right. But yeah, so I was pretty much, I thought this was normal. But
I would have been a big learning curve to be like, oh, wait, not everyone's like this.
Yeah, but my sister, like, but all my sisters and brothers, like, I think though they had it much harder than me with different, like, because they had different families and all that, because they were half brothers and sisters. Mm-hmm. But I seen through them, like, also like what things, what can happen and everything like that with consequences and all that sort of stuff. So it's just like, I kind of, like, I just didn't, like, we could probably swear. I never swore. I don't swear like in front of my parents, and I don't. Yeah, but I could have like like easily. Yeah. But I'm just not. But my sister, like, that's why I know that with swearing and stuff like that, with people, like, they get worried about swearing in front of their kids or something like that. But I know I was brought up in a family, like, my parents didn't swear though. Maybe that's why I don't swear. But my older brothers and sisters, they constantly swearing, but I just didn't do it either. They're like, oh, that's what you do when you're older. You're like, okay, cool, I'll do that when I'm older. And then I just never end up doing like, in front of my parents. But so I was pretty much like that. And I didn't have that rebellious side either. Like, I didn't have any I could just say what I wanted to do. And so that's why I feel like, because I was given that chance to like kind of do what I like wanted to do, and I was like kind of respected, and like I could tell my parents everything as well. I could watch anything. I reckon I could have watched anything actually as well, just thinking of it.
Wow.
I didn't want to, but I could have watched anything like I wanted to. And sometimes I would like watch, like, I remember like ages ago that you guys, had like the Big Brother uncut things and all that sort of stuff, I reckon I could, like, I remember keep watching that and all that sort of stuff. But I remember just thinking, like, I could have probably just watched all that. And I just, for some reason, I was this type of person. I was just like, oh, I won't like tell them. But it's like, I could have, like, I could have easily like, hey, can I watch that? But they're like, oh yeah, you want to watch that? All right, maybe, all right, whatever. But yeah, my parents are like the nicest people ever. But yeah, they just, I don't know, for some reason they just wanted, I guess, to give me that like, I guess, a freedom with that sort of stuff, and like little things, like I make sure I take away things from them though, that to have a little bit more structure with certain different things that they didn't have. But I've seen that me and my brother, we never had that. Both, I have a younger brother too, and we're like didn't have that rebellious side. We just we're like, so that's how I feel with the what you said as well, like I had that freedom, so I didn't have to, with the addiction as well. I feel like if I just let them do it now, then I've found out now, which is good. I was like, I had it in my heart. Like, I was like, I asked myself, I'm like, am I doing the right thing? And then like whatever comes back to me, like intuitively, I don't know, but it just like, there's a big, yes, everything you're doing right now is perfect. It's like, okay, let's just keep doing this, but it's like my mind doesn't say that. My mind goes, oh, like people are not doing that. People are not doing screens. People are not doing gaming. People are not doing that. People are doing sport like this with different schooling. And I was like, oh no. And then I have to get back to myself, be in a silent moment and be like, am I doing this? Yeah. Everything you're doing is perfect. And you'll find out later on why. And I was like, okay, let's keep trying to do this. And so I've kind of like let them, with the lockdown, it was a bit of my excuse to let them just go crazy with it.
Yeah.
Before that, I did do a time limit.
Okay.
It didn't work great. So we used to go out and like for the homeschool meetups, and I'll be like, okay, Cooper, at 3:00, you get to play a game. Like, and then like in the afternoons or something like that, and only for this, because I was just trying to test out what everyone else does, and I'm like, that sounds good, that works for them, let's do that. And for us, as soon as we went out, he's like, is it 3:00 yet, mummy? Is it 3:00 yet, mummy? Is it 3:00 yet, mummy? I'm like, you're like, we're out at the beach or the park with all your friends, like what is going on? Like it just did my head in. I'm like, and he could read, like he knows the time, like I'm like, he's like, show me your phone, mummy, show me your phone. I'm like,
yes, it's 3:00, but we're still out. We're still having fun. We're not going home to just so you can game.
Yes. Yeah. That was the hard thing about it. But the good thing about the lockdown is just like, I just go, you know what, when you want to play, you play. And then they played whenever they wanted for a couple of weeks. I guess it's like an unschooling process too. Hey, when people just let their kids do whatever they want. Yeah. And they just did whatever they played when they wanted to. And now they're actually getting bored of it. They're like, mommy, I don't know what to do. I'm like, that's good. I'm glad. And they're like, what? I'm like, I'm bored, mommy. I'm like, oh, awesome. Good.
Excellent.
And I say yes. Do you do the same? I'm like, yes.
I'm good. Like, oh, well done. You being bored now. Look at all of this that you can try to figure out. I don't want to. I'm so bored. And I'm like,
I wish I was bored. I said that. I'm like, I want to be bored too. Like, I would love to be bored. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? I'm like, all the things I would do if I was bored. And I get a moment of boredom. One day I'll be bored.
Yeah, one day.
And they're just like, look at me like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, but being bored is boring. Like, it's not a good thing, Mum. Why do you want that?
Yeah. But so they've pretty much went full force into the gaming.
And when you say full force, are you
didn't have any time limits?
Yeah, so like, were they on there like 12 hours a day?
Oh no, that's the thing. They didn't really go on as much as I thought they would go on. So they probably went on in the morning, and then they just do other stuff during the day, and then they went on the afternoon, like by themselves. Yeah. Maybe to begin with, like right at the start, for a couple of days, they were on probably like nearly like all the day. And then they slowly just went, I guess it's like a new toy, like they just want to play with it until they just want to, like, when you get a new toy for Christmas or something, you just want to play with it all the time. And I feel like it was like that. And so obviously they still want to play like physically and all this and go out, and we would also incorporate their gaming into real life gaming, because that's what they want to do. They want to be physical still. They don't want to be sitting there.
Yeah, exactly.
But everything was to do with Minecraft or something like that. So it was like, okay, Minecraft. I'm like, okay, cool. Like we painted Minecraft. We made what's it called? Little clay molds with Minecraft.
Oh, yes, I remember seeing those. They're so cute.
Yeah.
Were you sharing those? Is that the ones you were sharing?
Maybe, yeah, probably. Yeah. He's made so many, like it was just like so many clay molds. He's really into it because he wanted a toy. He kept wanting a toy. You know how much toys are when it comes to Minecraft and gaming. Like,
I know, they're
$20 for a little thing,
right?
And I was like, you can make your own toy, mate.
No way. Yeah.
So idea. That's why he started making his own toys, because and he started making them with paper cutouts first and cardboard cutouts. Yeah. So he would paint it, he would draw it. At first I would probably get like a paper over the window, and so he could trace it himself. I would have to learn how to draw it first. And I'm not good. I'm not good at painting or drawing. And so I'm like, but so he would do that, and then he could cut it out, and he could play with it with these like, So, and obviously we did the swords and all that sort of stuff as you do. And then the clay molds just went, he just went every day. Wouldn't want to do a clay mold. Wanted to do a clay mold because he has it in his head. and then he wanted to produce it out into physical reality, painting, and then gaming as well, with us playing a game like of it, like, yeah, let's play a game, like we're mining, you know. And he'd create more games like that we can physically do, and he'd play with his friends as well, like out in the park, you know, all to do with one game that he's into at the moment. And then everything will be about that too. Like, I guess it's like a passion, you know, with everything. We did this with everything though. He was into golf for a bit. He was into like everything. He's been into so many things. Like,
it's just classic kid behavior, isn't it? It's not just like it's like with anything, like they are gonna take a toy or take an idea or take a movie or take like a brand and just be so obsessed with it. You know, Thomas the Tank when they're, you know, one, you know, and they're just so obsessed with Thomas the Tank, so obsessed with Peppa, whatever you like expose them to, you know, they become obsessed with it, and then you know, have it like, and I think it's no different. And I feel like that's a really big message I feel parents should, you know, remember, is that like it is like everything else in life. It's not its own separate thing that we need to hyper focus on and make out to be bigger than it is. It's just like everything else in life. You're gonna get obsessed with it. You're gonna get, you know, spend a lot of time on it, and then you're gonna move on or keep playing it but not as much, or, you know, and then, but, you know, kids being kids, like they don't want to just sit there all day. And like I can sit all day at the computer, literally I could be sitting here the entire day and just be like, oh, it's dinner time now, you know, like on the weekend. But
I could do it on my phone.
Okay.
But not the computer or the everything else. The phone, I need to be researching something. Like I love to know about different things all the time, like researching, knowing about, like, so that's kind of my addiction, I guess. It's just like I need knowledge about something different that I don't know about yet, like all the time. So I
like
guess
all of that.
Your passion. So I agree with the whole, and I feel like some kids are not actually like that. So Parker doesn't have that whole urge to like have a full-on passion about something in particular, which is good and like harder, because you have to try and think of, like, you know, for birthdays, oh, what did you want? Oh, I don't know. Like, okay, it doesn't have a direct thing, but Cooper has always something on the, like, his eye on what he likes and wants and everything. But Parker's more like we go to the toy store and they get to, like, so they save up their own money, so which they did with, like, you know, all this sort of stuff. So that's why he's creating like a YouTube account and all that sort of stuff, so he can get subscribers and likes and get his own money. And he's doing the gaming on there. So also with the phone, you can record your voice on the phone as well as while you game at the same time. So with the Minecraft, he can, like, so he doesn't have to show his face. He can just be like, it's funny, he doesn't want to show his face on there. I'm like, it's a cute face, I love your face. He's like, I don't like it on there. Don't show my face on the gaming. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, people want to see you, like, go, wow, like. But yeah, I don't know if you've seen that in my stories where he, like, sometimes, like, I showed a quick thing of him, like, doing a YouTube, like, look at that and blah blah blah, and I feel like that's really great with the communication and all that sort of stuff. You know, learning how to talk on camera and everything. Hey, but Parker, he just he doesn't have that set, like, passion for things, which is, you know, we go to the toy store and he's like, oh yeah, like, what do you want? He's like, oh, I don't really want anything. I'm like, what? No, nothing. Like, Cooper's like coming out with all these, oh, get this, Parker,
this.
And Parker's like, no. And I remember having to leave because he just wouldn't choose anything. He didn't want anything. I'm like, how do you not want anything?
Lily is so much like that as well. Lily will be like, no, I don't want anything. No this, no that. So getting her things for Christmas and her birthday are a nightmare, because she'll also go through these phases where she'll be like, oh, I'm so into like 3 Christmases or 2 Christmases ago, we had this like little tiny keyboard that we were given for free, right? It was so annoying, it was so high pitch, right? Even though it had like the lower bits, it was still so high pitch, right? And so she was just like learning, like YouTubing and learning how to play, blah blah blah. This was like November, like really close to Christmas, right? And she's like, oh, I just want a keyboard.
Yes.
And I was like, okay. So like scrimmed and saved, we got her a keyboard. What does she do in January? I'm so done with keyboards.
Yes.
So we did the same. So keyboards, sewing. So we bought her a proper sewing machine. Barely, maybe five times used it. Same with the keyboard, maybe 5 times used it. Because and then painting as well. So she'll go through this massive phase where all she'll do for like a whole month is this one thing, and then she's done.
Yeah.
But like in that time, I'm like spending all this money. Yeah. I'm like, she's finally into something. Okay, like woo woo woo, and then done. I'm like,
yeah.
Now what do we do?
Yes. Yeah.
What are you going to be into next? So it's good in that sense that like they're not there's not a constant need or like maybe not a need, but like that constant like desire for something.
It's good that she's got different passions though each time. Hey, like
and just trying new things and all that. But it's also like not great for space. Like the sewing machine's under my table. Actually, so is the keyboard. It's there for when anybody wants them. We have like a $300 sewing machine and like a $200. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah. So
that's what
music is set anyway.
Yeah, music is set, sewing is set. Yeah. So Cooper does the same thing. Yeah, but I feel like that sort of stuff will always come in handy. Like no matter what age. Hey, that keyboard and. Yeah,
sewing
definitely
great for Jackson as well, and I'll have the sewing machine when they're both out. I'll be the old, grandma sewing with that sewing machine. So I'm not getting rid of it.
You'll learn it. Do you know how to sew?
No. I set up this room so I could be like, I'm gonna learn to sew. So like I was like, I brought the sewing machine,
it's the sewing room.
Things. It's now the sewing and the anything anybody wants
pictures
to
of
do
the sewing.
And then I'm like, actually no, I'm gonna do this.
I could imagine you going full force with it, like pictures, everything of like sewing things, like just like a full sewing room. You just go full on, and then you're like, we're over the sewing thing now.
Like that was so 2 seconds ago. Redecorate everything, pull everything down. We're now into music. I was like,
I can so imagine you all that. Piano notes everywhere.
One day, I'm sure it'll be a thing.
So with I wanted to like also mention like what they can get out of like has Jack's gone into the coding side of it yet, or the building the games?
No, he hasn't gone into building the games. I don't think he knows about that, to be honest. He goes into like, so I don't know if you know how they can like forge things. So like they can make things out of several different things and they put it in the oven and then it creates something else.
Yes. Yeah.
So he does that.
Crafting table?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh no, it's not. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, the oven thing.
Yeah. And I don't know. There's a few different
I love
that
he
like
can do that.
Hey,
it's amazing. Yeah. So I feel like because Cooper goes to like creative mode and then he goes to survival mode, and then so he makes his YouTube channel looking like he doesn't have anything in his like inventory. He says, that's I also remember. Actually, it's so funny because they have different ways of saying things. Like I told you, the villager, they say vidra. I was like, what is a vidra? I need to know what a vidra is. I'm like, this is an amazing little thing, like a vidra. It sounds pretty cool. And I'm like, and then it's funny because he kind of tells everybody else what it's called and everyone else starts saying the same thing. And Parker starts saying vidra. And even on Roblox, I even noticed him talking on Zoom. I feel bad now, actually, because I don't know if the parents know this, but it's like my Cooper's teaching them how to say the wrong thing, even though they're older and they know how to say the right thing.
What it's called? They're like, oh, we'll just call it a vidra.
So I think one of them's like the avatar. Maybe it's called avatar, and they call it now I forget what they say, but like he calls things something different. Like maybe we'll just say the avatar. I don't know. I forget, but like he'll start saying it, and then the friends just like, check the avatar. You can check the avatar. So maybe that, right? Check the avatar. I'm like, why is your friend starting to say it like you now? And then so they're actually thinking it maybe that's how you meant to say it from Cooper. And I'm like, no, oops.
What's going on? Oops.
Funny. I love hearing their little. I don't usually didn't get to hear the conversations before because they had the headphones. And that's another thing I'd like to add is that I like to make sure I like the computer idea because it's kind of out in the open. I can see everything that they're doing all the time. And I also play with him as well. So we make it like a family. I'm not really good at it when he just laughs at me. So with Roblox, I'm like, and then even the friends are like, hey, Aura's mom. Like, they're like, hey, Aurora. Hey, Aurora. I'm like, hey. And I'm like, just pretend, like just jumping or something. I'm like, this is like not for me. But I really want to look like, I just really feel like that I'm being involved with him, and he loves it so much, me being able to play with him, like you know, if only I loved it as well. That'd be so much easier.
Well, you take one more step than I do. I'm just like, he's like, play with me, and I'm like, I can't. I can't do it. And I know that it makes me feel like a really terrible mom, but like I'm also like, I just literally cannot sit there. I think sitting there is just like, it is literal torture for me. I'm just like, I can't do this.
It's really hard. I do try though, because it does make him so happy, and I feel like I've heard that with the movies as well, if they like want to watch it like a show, like a TV, it's nice to be able to sit with them, you know, like back scratches or something, you know, like just to like, if you don't like that they're playing the game or that they're watching TV, like make it like a family thing instead, you know. So I really wanted to add that as well. But with the coding side of it, so he did do a coding class quickly, which was great. He loved it. But with Roblox Studio, you can create your own everything you want, and everything. So he can just pretty much type and then just make anything he wants, like a full Minecraft thing. He can make it into that. Like an actual robot, so everyone can play with him. He can make like, there's so many things, everything. Like everything, any game you want to create, it's just like, you know, you can just create it very easily on the studio, Roblox Studio, and it's a whole separate different app that you bring up, and then you can make it like public to everybody, or you can make it private just with your own friends.
Really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's cool because he can actually play with his friends as well, like, and say, look at my game I made, and it's so funny, the games and these random things like, oh, if you win you get this, and something happens. And he made a driving game, an obstacle course, a boat game.
That's brilliant. I might have to like get Lily Jackson into Roblox, see if he likes it, because he only has the Xbox, so I don't know. I don't know. I feel like you said it's multi.
Actually, you can do it on Xbox, Roblox. You can do Roblox on Xbox. Hey. But it's like I said, it is full on though, so you just got to be prepared. With the so with Minecraft as well, he created everything, all the theme parks, roller coasters, and it would be awesome if you could have someone else as well play that with him and show off all his like creations to someone inside the map, which he'll be able to do later on. We just have to try and set it up with someone else. But
no, I know you can do it now. I don't know how to do it. Lily knows how to do it, because she used to do that. She used to create like her own theme parks. Like even her and her friends would sit there in a server and then create like a theme park, and then like get their other friends who hadn't been a part of the building come in and play and make sure it all works and everything like that. You can definitely
you can definitely get someone in there. For sure. But with the PlayStation, it needs to be another PlayStation thing. So later on I might get him on my phone. Maybe later on I'll get him to do it on my phone, and then he can get other people that have like just a tablet or an iPhone or something like that, you know. So but the thing is, he would have to create a whole new world, which he loves, these little worlds that he has.
And I don't think you can join like servers like that on tablets. I think you can only be in, I don't know, actually. I think
you can. You can join the server.
That actually. I know you used to, when like, I know years ago, I'm pretty sure anyways, years ago, you couldn't, if you were on the iPad, you could only like do like limited. You couldn't actually go.
Oh no, I think you can now.
But maybe they changed it.
Yeah. So is there anything else what you guys do to incorporate the gaming with learning, or what has stood out for you with?
I try to make it as like no, like I don't put any expectations on it. Like it's just free play. Like it's like just incidental learning, you know, like I'll write it down in my planner. Like if I've seen that he's written a book, right? So it's in my planner. Like he's read me, like he wrote a story. And then like I've even written like a couple of because I mean, the pages in the Minecraft are only like this big, right? It's only like a couple of sentences, like a sentence or two, and then you flip the page, right? So it's really quick for me to write it in my planner. Like this is the story he wrote. So then therefore, like to me, like that's English, but I don't want him to feel like, okay, go, you know, write me a story now, you know, like it's just more of like an incidental thing. And then I'll just, you know, retrospectively like record, oh, he's done this. Yes, excellent. You know, like, yeah, if that's for us, I don't want it to be like a thing, because I kind of just want like him to have like that free space, because I've just seen how much learning you can get done without feeling like you're learning, and I kind of just really like that, you know. I just really like, and it's like I feel like the best space for that, because it's, you know, like when you're out in nature or when you're out in the real world, you're learning through all of that, but like in gaming, like there's just so much more, like it's just bigger than, like that learning is so much bigger than other like times in life to just do incidental learning. So no, we don't. It's out in the main living areas, like even Lily at 17 does not have a computer or anything in her room, like that's not a thing. It's all out, so you know, anyone can just walk by. I mean, her thing's sideways now, so like I'd have to go behind her thing, but she's 17, whereas Jackson's, it's on the big TV now, or it's been previously like on a desk for him in the main part of the house, so I can just walk by at any time, even if he has headphones on, like, because I don't like hearing it. It just sends my head like just insane when I hear like YouTube or all the extra things. Like I'm just like, no, I can't. But you know, I walk by all the time, so I can see, you know, I can see his vibe, I can see how he's going, I'll hear some things, you know. He's not always listening. He does not always got headphones on. Yeah, so I feel like that's how we incorporate it. It's just like a natural play flow.
Yeah. Do you feel like it kind of, I've heard like it can regulate like emotions as well?
Yes, it totally does.
Yeah, especially I've heard for boys especially. I don't know. It's like they finally have like a feeling of control over their life. Have you heard that?
No, I haven't heard that, but it completely makes sense, like to me, like
yeah, I think I try to look up all the good things.
And like put a term on it. Like I don't tend to like put terms on things. I'm just like, oh no, that's how it is, blah blah blah. And then like I'm learning like all these like terms, like now, like what you're saying, and then before I learned this new term, like living education, and I was like, oh, that's what I've been doing for the last 11 years. I've been doing a living education.
Yes,
like, I didn't have a term. Like I don't know, I'm just not one for terms, but like I'm learning all these terms now. But for me, it's for us, I mean, it's sort of just like I really like that my kids feel like they are completely in control of their life, you know, age appropriate.
Yes, I love that you have that with the body autonomy and all that sort of stuff. Like I don't hear anybody really doing that. No. Any other parents? Like, is anyone else doing it? Like, I love that you do that. Like, it's amazing. Can you tell like everybody more about that, a little bit about how you let the kids more decide?
Yeah, so probably from like it's so age appropriate. Like so like it's a gradual thing in my household. It's not something like this the same autonomy that Lily has, Jackson does not have, because he's 7 and she's 17. Probably I think from about 10, 11 is sort of when I basically, it sounds really terrible, but it's basically true. From about 12, 11, 10, 12, you know, whatever, it's kind of like, you know how birds push their kids out of the nest?
I didn't know that, but
yeah. So in order to fly, a bird will push their baby out of the nest, and that's how the bird will learn to fly. And if the bird doesn't fly, plonk. Right?
Wow.
So from about, I think Lily might have been like 11, I started that process in the sense of like, I didn't push her out of the nest, obviously she's 11, but like, you know, like I felt in myself that it's like, okay, you know, like a nest, and it's got like the outer bit, right? It was kind of like, okay, love, like, you know, you're going to have to start going towards the outer bits. You know, you're going to have like more you know, more things you're going to have to do, you know, herself. Like a lot of things for her, it's tailored to them. So like, you know, she never really liked to go and pay things at the shops until she turned 17. So it's not like I literally push her out and be like, no, you have to do it, you know, because I'm not going to push them like that if they're not comfortable or if they're, you know, not ready. But at the same time, I guess it's like my mindset is like that. It's like, okay, I need to start letting go. Like they're not going to be in the house that much longer. I mean, I know 12 to 18, like that's 6 years, but my daughter's 17 now. I've blinked. Like it's so quick, you know, and I'm just so glad that like I've been doing that in my head for so long that like now she's driving, and it still freaks me out. I'm like, okay, yeah. But I feel like had I not been doing it for so long, I feel like I would be like really freaking out. And maybe not like letting her, or feeling like, oh, my baby's going. Like we're talking about, I mean, it's October right now. We're basically talking about this could be our last Christmas with her without, you know, a boyfriend that she's going to want to have to split her time with, or friends, or she might not even be living in the same state as us. Like this could be the last one. Like that's the life stage I'm at. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, like it's so important for me to like
so scary
take time to get to that point. So like for Jackson, you know, like he has his own, you know, border of things where, you know, he's got that flexibility to take control for himself, because I'm all about making sure that by the time that they hit 16, 17, like I was saying earlier, like I've got a mark that I'm aiming for, you know, and I know that it's going to take this long to get there. I'm just trying to make sure that by the time that they get there, they feel in themselves like they can control themselves, that they can, that they are in charge of themselves, and that they feel safe within themselves, and that they can speak for themselves, and that they can handle themselves. It's all about, you know, giving them that. And it really, I believe, starts in the home and how we treat our kids. So you know,
that's why it reminds me with like with the gaming, letting them to decide when to do it as well. And I remember you're saying something like that, and that's what I've realized, that with the boys, if they do go too intense, like addicted, like it looks like it, I also have that conversation with them where I say, okay, should we not do it tomorrow? And they're actually they're so amazing when they like come up. They're like, what should we do? Like we're getting too, I say crazy, but you know, you can say your own words. We're getting too crazy with it, right? So let's what can we do? Like, you know, because should we take like, you know, this day, what should we, and they're like, Mummy, guess what? We'll just won't do it tomorrow. We won't. And they do this, they say it. I don't say it. Okay, what should we do? And they say, let's not do it tomorrow. And let's not do it, you know, for this day. Let's not do it for a couple of days. And then it's so funny because the next day it was like, oh, what, like, so we're not doing it. Like, we're not doing it. Like, it's just so funny that they just like, they're like, oh yeah, they got to remember that they've made the rule. Like,
and I think too, like it's the very starting beginning of them becoming self-aware, and then so they become self-aware, and then they're like, oh, let's go do this. So it's like, this is how I'm feeling. Oh, let's go do this. And they just learn to redirect themselves, because they are in control. They're learning that process of, oh, I'm feeling like this. Now I need to redirect myself over here. And it's just like a natural progression, like rather than it being like it's not a consequence. Like for us, like I'm very, very clear when I'm like taking something away or something like that. Like this isn't a consequence of, you know, you being, you know, getting crazy with it. This isn't a consequence. This is just, you know, helping you, or, you know, great knowing that you need to have a break. That's really, really great, you know, and then he knows that like, yes, I've taken a break. I'm going on the swing. I'm going to go play now for the next hour or two out in real life. And, you know, and then have that ability to be like, oh yeah, I can just go back on now. I don't have to like it's not a consequence that I got all wound up by the game. It's not a consequence that, you know, I've been on here for an hour or two and now I have to get off. It's like, oh no, it's because I just want to get off because now I'm bored, and I'll go, no, actually now I want to go back. And they just start learning to self-regulate themselves.
Exactly.
And I think that will apply in other areas of their life.
And I I wanted to also mention because I feel like I do it with everything with I let them like decide everything with, you know, food and all that sort of stuff as well. Like it's just everything is kind of comes down to the same thing where I just let them decide like when they're full, when they're this, when they're that, you know. So and it like, and yes, it's hard at first when you first start gaming. And I guess you got to just get through that and test out the waters. Obviously it's not for everyone, because it's not, if you don't have a phone or a TV, then that's fine. Like you're an outdoor person, you know, but we do love, you know, I used to love movies and stuff like that. My husband loves the TV, you know, so I can't just go, oh, you can't, and we can, you know. So I need to remember what kind, like our family is like. And I also just think of the good side to it always. I always think of the good side to everything that they're doing. And I looked up, like, you know, a lot of the YouTube gamers, like they make like $1 million and they're homeschoolers. They're homeschoolers. They make millions of dollars. It's just like, and then it's just like so funny because like I hear a lot of kids are like, oh yeah, they got, you know, they all go to school and stuff. And I've heard them go, yeah, I'm going to be like a YouTube, like a, you know, YouTube gamer when I'm older. I'm like, oh, okay, like what's going on? Like everyone, no matter what, every kid wants to be this. Later on, like, you know, it's just like, you know, not every kid, but like kids that are like watch YouTube, you know, later on wants to be that. And I feel like it's going to be hard to not get your kids to watch it. Like I feel like when they get to that 17, like when that age, probably earlier, where they can do what they want, are they gonna, that's my question, is like, are they gonna want to do what they weren't allowed to do? And like, wow, now do they discover it then? Look at this gaming, I want to go on, like let's do this is amazing, you know. But I feel like I'm kind of doing it now, so what you said, just to get it over and done with now, while they're into it, because it's just like a passion, and it will go like a next thing. And it already is slowly going. They're already wanting to do, you know what I mean? Like, so they're already doing different things and like wanting to do, they're stopping to do it automatically. And getting in touch with what you said, with their feelings, and how they react to it. When's it time to stop for themselves? When's it time to go? And it just seems to be like lately it would just be, you know. And then also, I don't know if you've seen my reel that I quickly did. We try and do in the morning, we'll say, what are we going to do today? And then they plan out their days, what they want to do, which, you know, like a lot of the times doesn't go to, but at least, you know, you have that little thing of like your to-do list. Because a lot of things, you know, like the friend comes to the thing and go, hey, you want to play? Yeah, okay, well, that's out the window. All right. For me, social like is my top priority first. Social interaction is free play is top for me. So I always kind of say yes to that, which is exhausting and it's hard. But I feel like for some reason this is part of what my boys are meant to be exposed to for their future. And with the gaming, there's something in this that they're meant to be, and this is not for everyone, but this is for some reason my family and my boys, there's something that they need to be learning right now to do, because they're so social with so many kids all the time, every day, different kids. So it's like, why are we getting into this, you know? Because we get phone calls every day like, hey, come play, hey, can the kids come play? And I'm like feel exhausted, but I'm like, yep, okay, let's do this, let's do it again. And I just have this inner feeling that my kids need this for their future for some reason that they're going to be doing. And that's to do, you know, also the painting stuff and the gaming, all that sort of stuff. So that takes priority. But we also start with our basic to do, what are we going to do? And then they say, they usually say, oh yeah, we want to do gaming then. And like they like to just, sometimes it depends if my husband's home or anything like that, things get just a bit different. But we go out first, spend the day outside, and then we go, all right, we want to play gaming at this time, then we want to do this, then we want to do that, then we want to do this, and then we want to they sometimes like to play the gaming in the nighttime if their friends are playing, because that's when they can. If their friends are not playing, they're just not wanting to play if their friends are not playing, which is you know, they're like, oh no, I don't want to do that now, let's do something else. I was like, oh, okay. And it's just been so crazy to see that they've just been able to stop it themselves. And I don't know if that's to do with me just going like lockdown, like just go for it. And that was me, and I was in my own world as well of hurt and everything, you know, with all the whole stuff going on. I had a lot of self healing to do as well with my own things. So I feel like it was, and I just kept hearing, this is for a reason. You're meant to be like, I researched a lot about everything, about myself, about the world, and at the same time giving that boys the freedom. And now we're like back on track. We're opening up so we can finally get to a new level of different things.
Different things able. I feel like it's very much like the unschooling mindset of it's, you know, you're going to go through that process of like thinking that it's not right, and then all of a sudden you're going to see the benefit of it, you know, and then you're like, oh, okay, cool, why did I worry about that? Look at them, they've learned, you know, look at them, they've done this, look at them, this is all it is, you know.
Every time,
like, it is every time, on every level.
It drives you insane.
It's so like,
you're like, what like, again, you did it. Ugh, like, why did I stress about this every single thing? No.
Stop stressing and just trust that like it is going to be a thing. And yes, they could go through a massive phase where they do game for like, you know, 8 hours a day, and that could go for a couple of weeks, but it's not going to be for the rest of the life. I mean, it will if you're not there, in my opinion. This is my opinion. If you're not there to like guide them through the, like, if you're just emotions, leaving them be, like, you know, then I reckon it would be a lot harder for them to be able to understand for themselves and things like that. But like, if you are going to be there and help them understand their feelings, not sitting beside them 24/7 or anything like that, but just being in tune with it and things like that, then, you know, they will come out like how our kids have, in the sense of like, yes, go gung ho, and then now, oh no, I'm bored, let's go do this, let's go do that. Because you've given them the tools to be able to help them identify themselves. Because when they're gaming, they're just so fixed and so focused. But if they can learn through you, like, you're kind of needing to be like their inner voice. So, you know, what you say does matter. But like, if they can kind of hear you, then they can start like identifying when they're so focused, how they're feeling, what's going on, the time, have they eaten, have they gone to the toilet, you know, like all of those things. Then they can kind of start being a bit more self-aware.
It's so funny. Like, that actually reminds me of when Cooper's like, he's on the Zoom and stuff, and he actually just says to his friends, like, when he wants to go off, it's so funny. He's like, oh, mummy, sorry, you know, I need to, my mummy's calling me, I need to go eat dinner. And I'm like, what? Like, he doesn't need to go eat dinner. And I was like so confused, and I was like, oh, Cooper, and I'm like, oh, all right, I'll get food ready, here we go. And then I'm like, oh, did you want food? He's like, oh no, I don't want food, I just wanted to leave. I'm like, so you actually made up an excuse to go eat dinner. And I think because I think it's because his friend kept doing that. Like, I got to go eat dinner now. So he just does the same thing. And and my Parker actually did the same thing with his friend. He goes, my mummy, so the friend says, I hear the friend go, oh, you know, my mummy, I'm not allowed to play this game. My mummy said I'm not allowed to play this game. And I was like, that's weird. That's like a really tame game. Like, why can you play a crazy game, but you can't play like, you know, Babysitter Club or something? I don't know. And then, and then I hear her Parker like do the same thing. Like, oh, sorry, I can't, my mummy said I can't play this game, so I can't play it. Like, she said I'm not allowed to play it. And I was like, oh. And then the friend's like, oh no, I really wanted to play this one. What are we going to play then? And like, they get so angry, and they're just like, you're like, oh yeah, sorry. It's like, I really want to, but I can't. It's so like funny. I'm 5 years old.
You know, like my mom, like, what am I going to do?
How funny is that? That they know to say, like, they're putting me under the bus with everything. It's so funny already. Like, imagine when they're teenagers, like, what they're going to say about me. Like,
I do it all the time. I'm like, I say to Lily, I'm like, look, if you need to use me as an excuse, like,
I love that.
I'm here.
So funny.
And like, because she's just like, she's obviously 17, right? It happened the other day. It was so funny because two of her friends, I think they're also 17. One of them could be 16 or something. Now, obviously, I live out in the middle of nowhere. The only thing in town that's open after like 4 o'clock is the pub. But the pub is like not what you would think of it in the city. It's like it's also a restaurant, and then it has like a very, very small pokies, like tiny, the size of a bedroom pokies, and then like it has like a tiny little bar part, right? So it's like, this is the restaurant, these are like, you know, it's family orientated, right? Because it's the only thing for like, you know, 50
you try to tell
kilometers,
everyone
right?
she's not going to a real pub. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's not a city pub, right? It's not a club. She's not going to a club.
Just a restaurant.
Yeah. But like her friends' parents and stuff were like, oh, I don't think they're going to let you in. No one's 18. And and she was getting so worried. She's like, there's nothing open. I have to wait for them to finish school, you know. Just getting all like, you know, I'm so sad. I just want to be able to do stuff, right? And I was like, don't worry, love. I got this. I'll sit in the corner way over there, and then you go in, and then I'll walk out. All right, we're good. Like, yes, it's fine. You know, like it's not a thing where, you know, we need to be like so worried about it. It's not, they literally would not be able to go get alcohol. They literally wouldn't be able to do. And we're in a tiny town where everyone knows everyone. Yeah. So it's not like, you know, and I'm just like, it's totally fine.
And like I said, like my mum would have done the same with everything. And I didn't end up doing anything really like rebellious and that, because I had that, you know, that my mum saying that she would do whatever like that sort of stuff. Because she just, I guess she trusted me. And also she knew that, I guess she must have felt that, you know, like I have to, you know, I make, my own life as well. Hey, like,
your own decisions. Yeah, have your
but
own
she also gave me every single tools as well that I wanted to do. So if I wanted to dance, like, she would go, all right, you want to dance? Let's, like they went crazy. So I remember my dad like saying, like when I got older, like, so he's like, oh yeah, I want to, so when I was younger, I didn't get anything, didn't get too many things, like, because we didn't have much money. So I never asked for anything. And I think I was used to not asking for anything. So that was, but I guess when they got older, both my parents started working. So I'd be like, oh yeah, I really like feel like, you know, I really want to play drums or something. So what does my dad do? Buy like the biggest, baddest drum set there is. Like, what? And I felt, it is awesome. But like the type of person I am, I don't know if it's because how I was brought up, like I felt sick. Like this is too much. And they kept doing that with a lot of things. Like, you could have just done like the second hand, like little one. Like I just said it off the cuff, like, you know, like, and I was like, wow, this is, and I felt a lot of guilt for it. Like, oh, I feel sick. Like this is just way too much. Like and then you do that with like, you know, a couple of different things. And I'm just like, and I've had to learn how to appreciate gifts and things from people now, which is, you know, hey, it's so hard. Hey, just like, oh, I feel sick. This feels like too much. I don't, you know, like you've had to like, thank you so much. But you really didn't have to do this. But so like as soon as I was into something, they're just like, have it. And I guess it's a really quick thing to show you that you're not into it anymore. Like Lily, you know what? I'm really not into it anymore. Like,
I know. I like last Christmas, she was like, I really want a gaming steering wheel, like, because she hadn't had her license or something. So that's what she got for Christmas. She's never used it once. It's like $250.
So when the boys are into that sort of stuff, we don't get too much stuff for like birthdays and Christmases unless it's lockdown and no one else is then we have to kind of amp it up a bit more with like, you know, we're gonna get you more than one. But with that sort of stuff, the boys they do their own money, they get their own money together if they want something, so they look like they've that's why Cooper's like, I really want to work, so like we'll just, you know, so he tries to get his own money somehow with it, or different things, so he saves up for it for a long time if it's a big thing, and then that way it's his money, and then I'll like chip in some little things, you know, like I'll buy that painting for you for like 50, you know, like, you know, there you go. If it's like something that also I would like for them, like I guess you would with the piano and all that sort of stuff. If it's something like that, like, and you want it for them, then you would do it. But if it's just like a gaming thing, you're just like, no, you can pay for that yourself. Yeah.
Oh, it was a really lovely chat.
I
really liked learning. Like I guess for me, like I also have felt like a little bit like I guess alone, if I'm actually honest, like alone in this, because like for so long I was like, oh, I don't really want to talk about, like I was sharing in the beginning, and like, oh, I don't want to like be thought of as like that mum who's like you know, like that. I don't know why. I think it stems from like early on with Lil.
For sure. It wouldn't be, you know, it would have been so different.
Yeah. And also like everyone's opinion. Like I think it was also at a time when I actually cared about everyone's opinion. So I think I kind of held that on and just been like, okay. And then like completely forgot that like that's how I feel. And then I like was hearing you talk about it and I'm like, okay, this isn't a taboo topic. Like why have I completely like blocked that from my memory of a thing to talk about or a thing to like a thing that's important to share or anything like that. That's why I really wanted to get you on here to be like, let's talk about it, because I feel like it's important to normalize it, you know, and just to sort of be like, hey, I'm like that too, so that parents don't have to feel so alone, because I guess it is something.
And who knows what they're going to make out of this, like later on, like website design things, like you know, like everything is on the internet right now, everything. And if you don't like want the kids on there, that's fine, but everything is on there, like, and it makes their business from this sort of thing, like
and that's how people are making millions and millions and millions of dollars from sitting there on the computer playing a game.
If they're not into gaming later on, then fine, that's good, whatever. But I kind of, in my mind, I have this, something comes into my head for some reason just then as well, like a down, like, I don't know, something, but I just have this thing in my head. It's like, well, if you want to do that, you better be the best, you know, thing about that, you know, like if you want to do that, you're going to do the best, you know, go hard or go home. Like, I don't know why, but I just have this thing in my head, like, all right, well, if you want to do that, let's do that. Like, let's go. And if you get sick of it, fine. It's like a fire, I feel, and it will burn to like, it will light you know, like the embers for the next fire and then the next one. So it will create little things for different passions later on for every single thing that they're doing. And seriously, I'm just so amazed at what Cooper has created in the Minecraft. It just blows my mind so much with everything, like these huge, he's like, mommy, I've created your house for you, a dream house, like he doesn't say dream house, but he's like, I created your house. I'm like, this is like, what am I seeing? And it's like aquarium in there, and I'm like, this is actually, and I'm like, he just loves seeing my like reaction to it. He's like, do you like it, mommy? You like it? I'm like, I love this house and I want to live in this house. Actually, yesterday he was actually wondering like, why is the earth like this for? Why isn't it sometimes just like Minecraft earth, and then sometimes like this earth, and like, why isn't it like all these questions always? I love it. Like, that he's just so like,
so good. Hey,
he says what his mind's thinking, like constantly, like he can't hide anything. I feel so sorry for him, hey. Like Parker can just like have so many things in his mind, and you never know if he's honest or not. And Cooper's just like, Cooper, what happened here? Blah 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 blah. Yep, I did this and I did that, and yes, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, like
straight out.
No filter. And he says, I gotta be careful. I'm like, this is kind of things that we don't say in front of everybody.
It's even so with his hard friends, with those ones. It's so hard.
With the Zoom. No, but even the Zoom, he's like, okay, you know, okay, friend, like, you know, his friend, I'm gonna just go to a pool now. I'm gonna do a pool. I'm gonna go do it. And I'm like, oh, Cooper, you don't need to announce it to everybody. And he's just like, you know, I'm gonna do one. Yeah. Oh, something's happened.
That's funny.
That's
Hello? So funny. Yeah, there you are.
Sorry.
There you are.
Yeah.
But that's so funny, because my kids are like that as well. Very different in that regard. And I have to be like, okay, so we don't say this out. Okay, we don't do it. Okay, no. Like even yesterday at OT, the lady was like, our therapist was like, okay, so how would you feel if, you know, your friend left you at the park and didn't say goodbye? And he's like, I'd be fine with it. I've done it to my friends. And she's like, no, what I mean, like,
I love it so much.
I'm fine with it. Like, we don't need to say goodbye. I can just go.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no, what I was trying to be like is that we don't do that. We should be saying goodbye. And I was just sitting there being like, oh my goodness. Like,
that's so funny. That's like when people say, did you miss me? Like what I told you before with Cooper. I'm like, oh, did you miss me? He's like, no, not really. I'm like, oh, not really. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay,
all right.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Thanks for
having fun. Yeah.
Or like, do you want to give her a hug? No, I don't. Oh, crap. I just said that right in front of your, like, you know, a family member.
Yeah. He was actually saying with Minecraft and with Roblox, he's like, he loves that how they look, and they look big, and they're like, and then he discovered the word like that, it's fat, like that's a word, like he's like, oh, and he loved that word as well, and he's just like, not like the word, but he just loves like big people, like because they look like Roblox people, which is just, oh, how do I do this? And he said it so loud, like I don't want to do it, and it's just like, Mommy, look at that girl. She's got like big legs and her big arms. She's like got like fat legs. I'm like, it's like, wow, how do I be like that? Mommy, can I be like that when I'm older? Will I be like that? And I'm like, and he said it so loud. I'm like,
just like, where's the nearest hole? Where's the nearest hole?
Listen, like, I'm like, that's so good. Yeah, so you could like be like that. Like, like, I'm like, and then the other day I had to tell him because I felt bad because I don't not feel bad, but I just don't want to make it look like that's people don't like that, but I had to say it. I just don't, because I want him to know that it's all beautiful. Everyone's beautiful. And then if I make it look like people don't like it, then he thinks that, so if he ever gets called something, then he'll think, oh wait, people don't like that, so I shouldn't like that. And it's such a hard dilemma. So I'm like, hard. I think I just said, some people, some people don't really like being called that. And some people also don't like being called skinny. And some people don't like being called, and I just said everything. Some people don't like saying that they're like got a hat on them. Like I just like went so it wasn't just on that little just section. He's like, okay. I'm like, so sometimes we just like, we could say maybe like big, but maybe, I don't know.
And you're like, oh, am I getting out of this hole?
That's been a really hard, that's a really hard one, because if we weren't in this kind of world that we're in, like, it would have been easy to say that, hey, it would be nice, like, but it's hard. Hey,
it is hard, but it's definitely like, coming back to the gaming, like I definitely feel like I feel so good that like that has been our lives, and that gaming has been such a part of our lives, and I do feel like my kids have had like such a more rich experience, and their knowledge is so much more than they would have ever had if like Minecraft specifically wasn't a part of our lives. Because I think like of any game, Lily's played a few. Jackson's, like I said, I don't think he liked Roblox. He's done Fortnite. He's really good at Fortnite. Like he'll come number one in a whole group of like, there's like 100 people, he'll come number one.
I only recently got that one, so but he hasn't.
Yeah, but like I don't think there's very much learning to do in Fortnite. Like Fortnite's not one of those ones where it's like, oh yes, Fortnite, you're learning. Let me get my planner out and tell, like, write down the incidental learning, because I don't really feel like there is any.
Yeah, but in that case, if it was just Fortnite that they're like into, I would make it like I would make things around it that they love about it, like, and create art or do things around that, or create their own. I would make it outside of the game. So if they're really obsessed with it, you just do every single thing about, like, make a Lego Fortnite thing. I don't know, something, just nonstop everything and words to do with every single, create a book of Fortnite, like, online, like with the computer, make their own booklets, like if they want to be obsessed with that one, just that one, then let's go with it.
Make it educational that you can. Absolutely.
And turn it, flip it, transmute it to a different, a better.
I love when you say that. I love when you're always reminding me of that. You're like, oh, I've just flipped it like this. I just changed my perspective. And I'm like, oh, that's exactly the reminder I needed. Yep, let's flip it. I love it. I love it so much. Oh.
And it's like the good and the, like, when there's like good and bad of everything, like I feel like there's, that's just life, the duality of everything. And so I don't like to say positive. I don't like that word positive for some reason. There's just something in me that are just positive. But so when there's like, I don't know why. Everyone's like, you're so positive. I'm like, ugh.
Oh, don't put that on me.
I'm not positive. I know. It's so weird. But like, there's good and bad of everything. So like, say for instance, let's just say coffee is a good example. I'll research everything to do with coffee that's good, everything to do with coffee that's bad. I'll research every single thing if I'm like wondering about it. And I'll do everything. I'll research everything about like what my good people, nutritionists, say about it. And I research everything that the other people say about it. Like, I'll do every single thing I can about coffee, and then I'll come back to myself and be like, do I like it? Yes. Do I think it would be fine for me? Yeah. Like, then I have to go back into my own, and what do I believe and what do I think is good, and I just have to go back into my own. But like, first get the knowledge out there of both perspectives, not just one. I need every single thing about bad and good, about all of it, everything. And then I go, you know what? It's good for me right now, you know, maybe not later, maybe not tomorrow, but right now, you know, it's fine. It's good. You know, the good outweighs the bad. So maybe buy a little bit, but
I'm the opposite. I actually just go internal first. So if I'm like, oh, coffee, what do I think about that? And I'm like, what do I think about that? I think this. And then I'll be like, is there a potential for a negative impact on this? And then I'll be like, maybe there is. Let's look into it. Then I'll look into it and I'll be like, so I'll find the good, find the bad. And then I'll be like, well, I'm still going to do it. Or actually, I'm really glad that I looked this up because, like, for instance, like that we've just had to make a really big decision for one of our children, which I don't want to go into, but like my initial reaction was no. I was like, no, I don't feel good about that. Like, I know that that's what the specialists are saying. I don't like the idea of that. You know, plus the COVID stuff. I'm like, oh, no, this is too much. No, my gut's saying no.
Yeah.
But then I was like, maybe I should look into it a little bit. So I looked into it, and then it was very clear, yes.
Yeah.
It's so important. So it was like, I'm so glad that I didn't just stay in my own self.
Just open. Yeah, you opened your mind. Yeah.
And now our answer is yes, and you know we're going.
Oh, I do that all the time. I'm straight out no with a lot of things straight away. I'm like, you know, Jamie says, "Hey, I want to do this to the house." I'm like, no way, never. And then I'm like, okay, we can.
I thought you were talking about me for a second. I'm like, Jamie, what do I want to do in your house? Oh wait, no, your husband. Your husband.
My husband.
I thought I'd clarify that as well, like here, like because like I it took me a second, and I was like, maybe people who are listening are going to think that like I'm coming to your house and doing something to your house.
my husband, Jamie. Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, what a good chat. I feel like we talked way more about life, like how life is, and brought it back to gaming. I love it. Which I think is so important. Like, I think I definitely said that at the beginning, like gaming, like homeschooling, like parenting, like, you know, it's all the same. They're not separate entities. It's everything just gets mixed into life.
If anyone has any more questions, anyone has any more questions, like I know that there's so much more to talk about with this, and I really want to help so many more people with this. But yeah, just feel free to message me whenever, and also Jamie.
Link will be isn't that how they do it on YouTube? Link is down, or link is
definitely message us. Like we're just really happy to like answer any questions and help out with this at any way possible.
So you're mainly like you're only on Instagram, hey?
Yes. Quinn Family Fun on Instagram.
I will link that. I will link you definitely down below. Down below.
I can't do three things.
The term down below. It's so weird.
Swipe up.
Yeah. I don't think I'll have swipe up. Like, it's in the comment.
I'm joking.
Anyway, so I'll have all of that because like if you do have any questions, or you're feeling like, oh, I just don't know, or you know, whatever, hit us up. You know, hit Aura up and
Hit us up.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Chat. It was so fun. I really appreciate you, and like love you like way bits.
Love you too so much.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom about this.
Oh, and thank you as well. It was good. I loved hearing about you as well. So nice.
So nice to definitely have a chat and feel less alone, I think is I appreciate you speaking up about it. So.
Yes. Anytime. Speaking up.
Speaking about things that most people don't talk about.
Yeah. Now I know. Oops. Yeah. It sounds so weird speaking up. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I'll say bye now.